Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session of Coach Susan. We're actually at episode number 14. And for those of you that are new to the Coach Susan sessions, what I do in this live broadcast is really assist you in making your spiritual business as successful as it possibly can be. So this session, we're going to be taking your questions and answers. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what it is that I do. My name is SusanDintino, and I have been working full-time in this work pretty much since 2004. At that time, I took angel therapy practitioner training. From there, I became a staff member of Doreen Virtue staff and went on to take just about every class that she offered for certification. In addition, I'm a published author. I have a children's book out, A Year of Me, that I self-published, a meditation CD, Butterfly Blessings, and the crown on that is my book, Songs of My Life, Slightly Out of Tune, that was published by Hay House. So in addition, I teach workshops. I'm working on an oracle deck currently, teach about meditation, and really give a well-rounded reading to all types of requests. So everything that you might want to know about me and more is available on my website, which is SusanDintino, and that's DINTINO.com. So let's get started with today's subject. First of all, let me tell you that I am not doing personal readings. And what I mean is that this broadcast is strictly for questions regarding your business. I really want to stay focused on that. Now at 1:30 today, I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Leo, and that's going to be a Facebook Live event on my fan page, SusanDintino 333 over on Facebook. And at that time, I'll be doing mini readings. So if you'd like a chance to get a mini reading, come on over at 1:30, and that's Eastern time. I talk about all the energy going on with this moon phase, and then I do some mini readings towards the end of my broadcast. So I would appreciate it if you keep your questions based on exactly the topic today. And one of the things I want to say before I proceed with that, I am a big proponent of meditation. I have a meditation technique, empowering meditation, that I teach. And in addition to that, I meditate on a daily basis. The reason I'm bringing this up is because so many of the questions that I get that are people looking for readings, especially when we're doing these broadcasts, I just get such a clear hit for all of you that if you would quiet your mind and get into a meditation practice, you would find that many of the answers that you're looking for are right there. So I would strongly advise, if you're not doing it, to begin a meditation practice. And when you have a question such as those that you're asking me, I know many of you out there are wondering if this is the right path for you, you're feeling blocks and things like that. If you ask your divine helpers, whomever they may be, for assistance really during your meditation time, you will find that you will get many of the answers that you're looking outside yourself. Your divine helpers, and again, whomever it is that you work with, are just waiting to assist you and get you those answers. The one thing I can assure you, that if you feel that you're supposed to be doing this business and have any doubts, I can assure you, yes, you are. You're being called to do this business. We are light workers. We are people that are assisting and bringing light to the planet right now at a time that couldn't really be defined as rather tumultuous. So know that any small contribution that you're making is not small by any means. So watch the pressure that you're putting on yourself, this idea of perfection in your readings, perfection in your healings. That's not what it's about. I always like to remind everybody that we are strictly channels. We're not doing this. Again, our divine beings are really channeling through us the information our clients need, the healing that our clients need. That really, we're kind of just almost being reminded to get out of our own way. So I really wanted to mention this today because I know so often the questions do pertain to blocks and things like that. And as soon as we hear the word block, just know that that's that little ego just, peeking into your mind and telling you all the reasons why what you feel you're supposed to be doing doing isn't a good idea. So I really felt very strongly about mentioning that today, that meditation will really assist you in getting those answers that you're looking for personally. So just believe me when I tell you, when you quiet the mind and you just allow yourself to listen, when we have that mind chatter, it's us talking. I'm talking about listening. And you ask a question, 9 times out of 10, you will get that answer. So I wanted to begin with that. So I know some of you have posted some questions. I put a graphic up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to those questions first, and then I'll scroll through and see what it is that you're looking for. So one of the questions that I thought was really good was from a lady named Carol, and she's from Singapore. And basically what she talked about is that during one of the sessions, and I believe it was with my reading sessions, I talked about ending your session with an angel prescription. And one of the places that I worked actually had a pad that was all printed up that said spiritual prescription. So we always want to remind people that we aren't in any way giving them health advice or anything that might, be construed as that. So using the word prescription might seem that way, so you might want to use a different word. But it was really interesting because I always feel that my readings include some type of coaching, some type of advice. So it was nice to have a pad of paper available to just write down a couple things that I feel would really benefit the people. So for instance, just like I did with you, if say I was reading one of you out there and you're talking to me about a block and we pull the cards and the cards are really showing that your third eye's wide open, that beautiful chakra located right here at the center of your forehead, that third eye is wide open, you're getting the information that you need. So it's just a matter of trusting the information. So just like I spoke with you in the beginning of the session, I might recommend at that time for somebody to really get into a meditation practice. And maybe, again, now I'm reading them, so I know what type of people they are. They might be somebody that right now sitting still is a bit of a challenge. So I'll advise them to maybe get involved with a walking meditation. The important thing is to stay present in the moment, focus on the breath. So I'll recommend something like that. Another case might be something like a romance question, and it's somebody wondering if they should stay in a relationship. A prescription along that lines might be to really ask yourself, what is it that you're looking for your partner to fill in you? Is it something that may be a void that you could fill for yourself? And what I'd say is, have you tried maybe a hobby that might bring you some satisfaction? Often when there's dissatisfaction in a romantic relationship, it can be because one partner is looking to another partner to fulfill a need. And that might really be filled before the relationship is dissolved by one partner really maybe getting involved in something and not looking to the other partner to fill the void. Again, these are very general descriptions. So that might be a prescription I would use. If you do fairy readings, shaman readings, any type of readings, you can, really spin your prescription anyway based on that. So what you again are doing is you're the intuitive, you're the reader. What information are you getting that you can give your client a takeaway? Besides giving them the information, what is it that they can take away from the reading that first of all is going to make them remember you and this advice you gave them, but most importantly is going to assist them in taking the information that you have given them and utilize it for what is best for them. Again, going back to romance questions, I used to work on an online service, and I had certain clients that were in romantic relationships, and they would call, and it would be the same question over and over again. And I'm always gentle in my relationship questions, especially because I always feel if people are asking, should I leave, they're not ready to do it. And I feel as well that what we do is not 100% accurate. You can look at the energy and think, well, right now this relationship is out of balance. I really don't see it succeeding, and gently present that information to them. But but things can switch like that. So it can happen that all of a sudden the one partner just starts to feel this other partner pulling away, and they do, a 180, and now they're the person that the partner had hoped. The relationship comes into balance. And in that way, one of the things that I might do in their prescription is say, do some journaling about this. What is it that you really are having a problem with your partner? What is it? Do some journaling. Or one of the things I'll suggest is you can actually ask for permission to speak to your partner's higher self. So again, kind of going into a little meditation, you would ask your permission from the partner's higher self if you can talk to them. And often you'll get it. Now, once in a while, the door will shut, and in that way, because of free will, you can't really do it. But when you can, what I'll advise the person to do is have a very frank conversation with the higher self. Now, again, we don't get into complaining. We don't get into any type of nagging energy. We're just saying, this is how I feel. I feel that it would be nice if we did more things together. I feel that when you come home and shut yourself in a room with the TV excluded, you would just say those kind of things. Often that will really create a huge shift in what's going on in the relationship. Now, obviously, if there's abuse of any kind going on in the relationship, you always want to make sure that you have phone numbers available. If this comes up, maybe refer them out to a therapist that deals with abuse, that helps people. Obviously, you're not in any way going to be recommending anything that's like, subtle if you're in that type of situation. You always have to remember that your first and foremost commitment is to your client and to getting them the best advice. So if you are doing fairy readings for those people that enjoy doing that type of work, I'll often be doing those types of readings. I see the person is very, uptight, and we know fairy energy is light and playful. So fairy prescription for this person would be schedule in 10 minutes of outdoor play of some kind every day. Okay, so for your lunch, go sit outside, play some favorite music. Fairy energy, it's very important that these people get outside. They enjoy the weather. Even sometimes I'll recommend getting out in the rain, getting a beautiful umbrella and splashing in puddles, or, get those welly boots and pull them on and just get in touch with your inner child. So that's the type of really prescriptions I'm talking about. We're not in any way, there might be a crystal you would recommend for somebody, an essential oil you would recommend. So anything along those lines. So Carol from Singapore, I certainly hope that you'll be able to tune into this and get the answer to your question. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, and welcome everybody that's joining. I will be scrolling through those questions in a moment. Okay, so this is Cindy, who is saying that she has a personal page and a fan page. If someone wants to friend you on your personal page, do you respond and ask them to go to your fan page? Well, Cindy, I have done this in a few different ways. Because I started with Facebook when it was just friends, I have quite a few friends that aren't, friends in my personal life. So one of the things that I have made a practice of is I really don't get into too many personal things on Facebook, period. Once in a while, for instance, my grandson just graduated, so I posted some pictures with that, and I have talked about my grief journey that I'm on right now. But for the most part, I kind of keep it more business oriented. I always post, the memes that we've talked about creating, and I try and have inspirational things offered that way. So because of where I am right now, for the most part, I accept everybody that asks me to be a friend. Now, I do have colleagues that have very definitive friend pages, and the only people that are on their friend pages are friends. So I think it's really a determination that you have to make, how you want to see this play out. for a while, when I would accept a friend and it wasn't somebody that was a personal friend, what I would do is I'd send them a link to my fan page and say I would really appreciate it if you would like my fan page. But for some reason, I wasn't comfortable doing that, so I just stopped doing it. And now I accept friends. The only thing I'll have issues with if people are my friends and then start messaging me and, asking for personal advice via the messenger. And then I'll either not respond. There's been times I've unfriended these people. Again, I have no problem referring them to my website if they want a reading. But again, that messenger service to me can sometimes be abused. So it is a really good question and an important question. What I would suggest now, if you don't have a ton of friends, is to really keep your business page very separate from your friend page. So if there's a way that you can do that, I would. If you're too far along in that whole situation right now, then I would just suggest that you do watch what you post. Especially during the election, there were some people that got very heated on Facebook, and I just stayed away from the topic because for me, I didn't feel that it was something that I wanted to do. So Facebook is huge. There's no two ways about it. Instagram, Snapchat, any of those social media things you're using for your business really has to be considered that, yes, this is business. I know a few people that pictures have been posted. People have gotten offended because they weren't included and things like that. So I'm really cautious with what I do, and I would strongly suggest that you utilize the same caution in it. So I hope that answers your question, Cindy. Okay, and this is a question from Pamela, and she's saying, I'm just getting started and have been guided to ask my chiropractor if I can set up space. Could you tell me if that sounds clear to you, as I've also just yesterday told by the cards it was unlikely to work. Okay, so again, I'm not going to get into doing a reading on this, but what I will say is this, Pamela, was exactly what encouraged me to talk about meditation today. Sometimes we have to be cautious the way we're reading the cards, and what this could mean is maybe the timing isn't right. What I would suggest you do is go into the chiropractor's office and see how you feel in the space. That's the most important thing. It's always you using yourself as a personal barometer, or whatever that would be called, maybe a personal divining rod, where you go into this space and make sure you're comfortable in the space. That's the most important thing, because you and your clients are going to be there, so you want to make sure you feel comfortable. Sometimes what I found, and I found this with pendulums especially, I can't use pendulums because I influence the answers. Sometimes, for instance, Pamela, if you're thinking this isn't going to work and then you pull cards, sometimes what will happen is our energy will influence what those cards are telling us. So what I would suggest is either automatic writing, where you write the question, allow the answers to come back to you. And in automatic writing, it's exactly that. You begin by writing the question, then without censoring yourself at all, you allow the answers to flow. When I'm doing that work, I don't read it until it's all done. And like, should I, utilize this space? And then you would write down the first thing that comes to you. And then you would say, why? Write it down. Why? Write it down. And what you'll find is you'll get to a very basic answer. And your answer could be, because I don't feel I'm ready to put myself out there yet. It could be something like that. And then all of a sudden, the aha bulb goes off. So if you're not getting where you'd like to get in meditation, that's what I would suggest. Also doing more than just one card pull, maybe using more than one deck, and seeing if there's a consistency, because that also could be part of it. Or go to a colleague that might be unbiased and get a reading. I know so many of these Facebook pages now, people are always looking to do readings. So to do something like that, and that way you'll know for sure that you're not influencing the answer. So go inside and see if that's what it is that you feel will really be beneficial for you at this time. So welcome everybody that's coming. I'm going to just take a quick look there. Okay, Nicole, we'll start with you. If clients asked if them and their X will get back together, and all the cards of my intuition points to the answer of no, would you just do this prescription and not say they'll not get back together? Okay, that's a good question. And I've had those situations. And what I will say, because again, I believe very strongly in gently giving information that you know your client doesn't want to hear. What I will say is right now it looks, energetically speaking, that the two of you are on different paths, or the two of you have grown apart. I definitely feel that that information should be relayed. And what you'll find is usually the cards will support it. So what I always do is I begin my readings with just my intuitive hits. That's always what I do, and then I go to the cards. Now again, it's just my own personal way of doing it. But I do feel that your client should be made aware of the information you're getting. I think that, again, as I said before, it's not 100% accurate, and things can always change. And that's what I say, because I always like to have the person, especially you can tell if they're looking for hope, give them that hope. I think I started getting sidetracked a little bit when I was talking about my online readings, where there will be times that people will come back and ask you the same questions over and over again. Will be a relationship that you'll see just isn't going to succeed. And sometimes you have to say, you know, really, we've worked together for a while. You know, this is something that I'm just not seeing working out. And it can be really a challenge, because there are some people, and okay, sorry about that. I'm not exactly sure where I went, but I'm still here. There are some people that just don't want to hear that type of information in the beginning. So you got to be gentle. But when it's the same person coming over and over again to you, and you keep on getting the same information, it will get to a point where you will be really honest with them. And again, that prescription for them could be to help with healing. You're going to, you know, look to, maybe they could use some energy work. And it's always nice to have a group of colleagues you can refer these people out to. So for instance, if you're not an energy healer, you're not into Reiki, IET, reconnective healing, have a list of these people that you could say, well, maybe you would like to visit this person. You know, it always helps. And again, make sure that you always have a list of phone numbers, again, that people can refer to. Like I said before, in abuse cases, if you ever get somebody that you feel is suicidal, make sure you have a suicide hotline in your area, or just a general one available. Always keep in mind that you're talking to people when they can be extremely vulnerable. So make sure that you realize that with the information that you're given. I know, again, in this world, when I was training and doing different things, a few of the readings that I got were really dark readings, and they were very upsetting, and we were taught not to do those kind of readings. And what I mean by that is, like, for instance, the one with me was that I see you've got a black aura, do you smoke? And I'm thinking, well, no, I don't smoke, and a black aura. And the person did not know enough about this to really give me a clear idea of what she was talking about, but it really shook me. And I felt that she really felt this was a negative thing. So you have to be very cautious with this advice. And with your prescriptions, again, remember, it's coaching, it's positive. Maybe having them create an affirmation. So in that case, if you're seeing that, I would ask the person to maybe explore a hobby, explore something to do with their time. Also, I think a very valuable tool for somebody going through a breakup is journaling, and I'll recommend that. Allow yourself to put the pain to the paper. Helps you to heal, to get those feelings out. So I hope that does answer your question. Let me see. I'm going to scroll back. Okay, so Barbara, Monica, hello. Donna, good morning. Trina, hello. April and Emily. Janisha, I hope I pronounced that. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you love the color. Yeah, and Donna's saying she feels so much better when she meditates every day. Serena from Tasmania, hey. Erica, hi. Cindy, Taylor, thank you again. I'm glad you like this color. Good, Donna. I'm glad that's answering your question. Like the necklace. Thank you, Gail. Hello from Anna Mae from Toronto. Thank you, Anu. Anu, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Okay. Donna's asking, do you put a disclaimer on the angel prescriptions pad that you are not a psychological counselor or medical professional? You know what, Donna, that's a great idea. And I think that if I was having those printed, I would do that. Sometimes what I'll jot when especially if I'm sending an email reading or I'm doing those prescriptions with in-person readings, I don't tend to do a lot of in-person readings. And in the past, I really didn't think to do it. But I find when you put for entertainment purposes only, I explain to my client why I'm saying that, it really does assist in keeping you, devoid of any consequences. But I think if I was having something printed, Donna, I think that's a great idea to put that little disclaimer. I don't think you can ever protect yourself too much. When I was doing in-house work, in-person readings, I used to have a bit of a disclaimer that I had the people sign. My daughter's an attorney and I had her draw something up for me. So I actually, would have my clients sign it, especially doing healing work. When I was doing that as well, I would have the client sign it. So I don't think that's a bad idea at all. So thanks. Great question, Donna. Yeah, Monica is saying she used to accept friend requests and then ran into having to block them. And she no longer accepts friend requests. And see, that's it. It was funny because I accepted somebody today. And see, I should have listened because my intuition told me, this might not be a good idea. And right away, the messages started coming in and they were more personal kind of things. So yes, Monica. And then what I do is I just kind of get, I block them or stop the friendship. You always have that option. So keep that in mind as well. Himika, hello. Jennifer, hi, welcome. Okay, we answered Nicole's question. Yeah, Donna's saying it takes a lot of time and practice to remove yourself from your own readings. I totally agree. It really does. What I'll do when I'm really looking for answers is, what I'll do is get a bunch of decks. I'll go to my decks and I'll see which ones I feel will really help me get the answers. So I'm pulling from maybe 4 or 5 decks. I create 3 lines. And, depending on what question, I will do either past, present, future reading, or maybe have a very specific question and very specific generalities based on the lines I'm pulling. When I'm going to that many different decks and that many different things, it really helps me to really get the information I want. So I'm really enjoying a new app that I just recently downloaded. I have the deck in Florida. It's Rumi, whom I adore, R-U-M-I. And it's by Elena Fairchild. And the deck is beautiful, and the app is as well. I have really it's very different. It begins with like a poem, and it's a very different type of reading. But I'll tell you, for me, it has been very spot on. So you're going to find that there are certain decks that really resonate with you when you get that information. When I first started doing this work, every Sunday I would do like a weekly reading for myself, and I would take notes on the reading, and I would find that, for instance, I kept on pulling this one card that was really about a toxic relationship that I had to let go, and I kept on thinking, well, I had resolved it, and I kept pulling the same card, and when you take notes, you really know you're pulling the same card, and finally the relationship totally dissolved, which I was trying to make everybody happy, go figure. But finally, I just had to release the relationship, and I never pulled that card again in regards to that. So that will help you. But yeah, removing yourself is a challenge. That's why going to outside, sometimes what I like to do is go to people I don't know at all, so I don't feel in any way they're influenced by how they know me. So that can definitely help you as well. So thank you, Donna. Rachel, good afternoon. Angela. Again, I'm not doing any personal readings, Angela. Nicole, hello. Maria, love from Florence. I'm assuming this is Florence, Italy, and oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite cities on the planet. As a matter of fact, I'm really strongly considering doing a trip to Europe next year and would love to get back there. So that's a beautiful place. Hello, Vale from Canada, and Marie from Kingston, Ontario, Kenna from Reno, Claudia from Portugal. Boy, That is really, really all over the world we're getting. I just love it. Trina, she's saying it's a good idea, Monica, to not accept more friends. And Vandana, yes, I was really, as I started getting more and more really people coming onto my fan page, I really debated about what to do. But because people were reaching out to me that had mutual friends that I had already accepted, I didn't in any way want to hurt anybody's feelings. But again, I really think that it's very important that you do what is best for you in this situation. For me, my friends were, I think I have almost as many friends as I do fans. Fans obviously are better for business, but, right now for me it would be really a bit much to try and change it. I know there are ways that you can take all your friends and put them over on your fan page and then create a whole new friends page. I don't know how to do it. I've looked into it a little bit, but I'm kind of happy with where I am right now with what I'm doing. For the most part, I haven't had too many issues, but again, it's certainly something to look into. And if you go into Facebook questions or help desk, you'll see that there is a way to do it, but it always seemed very confusing to me. So I said, hello, Vandana, Serena. Serena's saying, I love Alana Fairchild Ducks. She has a great Facebook page as well. Okay, Maria's saying, I am looking for an in-person Angel Tarot reading class. How do you know it's a good, truthful, quality one? I think that, again, that whole barometer of our body, divining rod, that I was talking about, you really have to use. And I will tell you that what has happened to me throughout the years, prior to working with Doreen Virtue, taking her classes beginning in 2004, I had been working with local spiritual teachers. And the very first class that I took was in the Western New York area. And it began with meditation, and then I just enjoyed this teacher so much, and I worked with this teacher, and I was finally at a point where I had taken just about all the courses I could take, and there was one course to take, and it was on channeling, and I was really debating because I felt that this type of channeling really wasn't something that I was interested in doing, but it had been highly, touted as an advanced class, that, this was going to be something. So I thought, well, add this to my resume as I was building it. And when I went into the class, it was very obvious to me that the class was being run only for the sake of income. I felt it immediately. I wasn't comfortable in the energy. I had paid for it, so I didn't say anything during that class. And this channeling that I'm talking about would be where you would actually let somebody come in. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Esther Hicks, but when she does her channeling and Abraham comes in, it was that type of channeling. And like I said, I had very mixed feelings about doing it to begin with, but the other people in this group were not at all equipped, and I knew that. So I left, and I called the instructor, and I just more or less told him that I wasn't comfortable, and I never went back. And then I found a new teacher. So again, it's using how you feel. What I would suggest is if there's any way that they would allow you to come to a class before, that would be great, to observe a class, or wherever the class is being held, to go in and see how you feel and then decide. And again, depending on what your clair is, and again, clair, your psychic talent. Is it clairvoyance? Is it clairsentient? Is it claircognizant? Clairvoyance seeing, clairsentient feeling, claircognizant knowing, clairaudience hearing. You can go to that sense. Maybe for you, for me, I'm very clairsentient. So for me, I have to get into that feeling place. You might just know. You might see a list of classes and teachers and something, there's a knowing there. That's where you have to trust it. And also, I would say, don't have any issue with reaching out to whoever's teaching the class and say, do you have anybody that I could talk to that might tell me a little bit more about this class that's taken it? I'm not sure if it's right for me. And in this way, you're getting a reference. So really, I think with everything that we do in this field, we have to be aware that there might be people out there that are not of integrity. And we always want to learn from people of integrity. We want to get our readings from people of integrity. And so we have to sometimes, and I admit it's happened to me, we do step into this and learn a lesson of, well, I should have followed my guidance, or just, hey, how would you know? And so you take a step back and you say, lesson learned, and move forward. But those are a few suggestions I have. So, Marie, thanks for that question. Oh, Claudia, you're welcome. It's my pleasure to be doing this. Hey, Michael from Germany. Hello. Joan from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And Claudia's asking, what's the best cards for a message for kids? I had 2 requests today. Okay. And I'm assuming that's in a live. Okay. There are a few different decks out there. Now, I'm going to talk about the ones that I'm familiar with, because I'm sure there might be others out there. But the ones that I'm familiar with are the unicorn decks. The Unicorn deck by Doreen Virtue was designed for children. I know she's got a little cherub deck as well, that actually the cards are small and they're designed for children to actually use. I'm not personally familiar with those. The few times that I have had questions dealing with children, or there have been times when people have asked me if they could bring a child into the reading. And if that's the case, I pretty much really tell them that this will be a reading for a child, that I'm not going to be reading them with their child present, just because you don't know what might come up and you want to be comfortable. So at that time, what I've done is gone to the lighthearted cards. I've gone to the unicorn cards, and I've also used fairy cards. You can also use an angel deck. Strictly speaking, when you are reading a child, it's like reading anybody else, and often children are much more intuitive and much more receptive to the information you're getting from the cards than the people might be, the adults, because there's only so much they want to hear. So I would say, strictly speaking, the unicorn deck, although I use it for adults as well, the unicorn deck is very, very, really appropriate for children. So I would suggest that you use that deck. And I know somewhere in the questions people have posted on the page under this graphic, there was one that came up about how can I get to know my unicorn? How can I work with my unicorn? There's many people that are really drawn to the elemental kingdom. And when we talk about the elemental kingdom, we're talking about the fairies, a little bit of myrrh. Usually you've got the myrrh people who are the myrrhs who, have that water background, the connection with the dolphins. Most of the time, myrrh people have got like their myrrh angels, myrrh fairies, but you've also got that. Now you've got your beautiful mermaid deck to deal with that. So any of these really like realms, as Doreen Virtue designates them, and if you're not familiar with this idea, I would strongly suggest that you take a look at the Earth Angel book. It's been recently updated. It really does assist you. Now, when somebody's coming in for a reading, the first thing that I intuitively do is decide what realm they're from, and it really helps you a great deal in doing their reading. So it'll really just kind of give you a focus. If you're reading a fairy or a myrrh person, then you've got this idea, okay, a myrrh needs to be near the water. If they're not near the water, then like in your prescription, you might say, hey, sea salt bath, sea salt shower. A fairy, as I said before, get outdoors and play. So the wise one, maybe talking a little bit about maybe some type of extraplanetary influences that might come through, star person. So that is really a helpful book. It's Earth Angels. It's by Doreen Virtue, recently updated. So if you're not at all familiar with this realms idea, again, I always say it's a tool. It's like what your astrological sign is. It's a tool that will assist you. It's like when I'm reading somebody, and I've said this a million times, I'm not an astrologer, but I'll read somebody and I get this whole perfectionist thing. I will ask them if they've got Virgo in their chart, so you start learning more and more the more that you do this. And let me just take a moment here, if you've just joined, to introduce myself again. I'm SusanDintino. I am coming to you to coach you, to assist you in your spiritual practice. I'm a published author with Hay House. Songs of My Life, Slightly Out of Tune. All of my products, all my information is available on my website, which is SusanDintino.com. And also, if you haven't been over to my fan page, I invite you to come on over. I get my daily inspirations up there, Susanisms up there, which is my blog. And pretty often, right now, my Susanisms, I haven't been doing much writing, I must admit, but I do get my pretty boxes up there, my memes up there. And also, I'll be broadcasting live from there at 1:30 this afternoon, that's Eastern time, to talk about this new moon energy. So definitely, if you want mini readings, I will be doing some during that broadcast. So thanks again for joining. So, okay. So, yeah. So Claudia's saying she took from the fairy cards, but I thought I'd need the unicorn card. See, there you go. And pick up that deck. And I'll tell you one thing. People ask me all the time about decks. There are so many out there. And most of the time, the ones that I have bought, I've enjoyed. But there are some decks that I've picked up and I've gone through. They don't resonate at all. So, again, with something like this, she's getting a clear hit. You know, a feel she should have had that deck available. So, to repeat myself, you know, the theme of the show is use your own intuitive ability when you're making these decisions. Okay. Yeah, see, Trina's saying she loved the realm reading course from Doreen. And yes, there is, I'm going to just scroll back here. See. And yes, there is a specific course that Doreen offers, which is a realm readers course. And with that course, you get a certification. So thank you for mentioning that, because I forgot about that. But yes, there is a way. When I took angel therapy practitioner training back in 2004, it was a week-long course. And we pretty much got everything in that week. So we learned about mediumship. We learned about realms. We learned about doing all different types of readings. So for us, you know, I really took all of that away. Now, I went on to become a certified past life regressionist and a certified medium. So I brought more things into my arsenal, but I definitely felt that there are certain things I think I've mentioned before as far as mediumship goes. I enjoy doing it when it comes up in a reading, but if somebody reaches out to me and wants a strict mediumship reading, I will refer them out, because I feel that there's people that that are better. And I'm not saying it in a judgmental way against myself. I'm just saying that's an integrity thing. I feel that when somebody is desperate to get in touch, because mediumship can be tricky. Sometimes the deceased loved ones come in, sometimes they don't. And I really feel it's one of the most healing types of readings we can do. But there are some people that are just better. You know, they've got their spirit guides that, you know, bring it in. And I'm much happier working with the angels and the fairies and things like that. So I acknowledge that and I refer them out. So again, you know, if you find you love doing fairy readings and that's really what makes your heart sing, and when people ask you to do angel readings, you might find somebody, you know, that you would say would be more inclined to be good at it, so to speak. And I'm really trying to be cautious with this, because I don't want to say good versus, you know, bad in any sense, because I think we can all excel wherever we would like to. But this again is where I really would remind you to just use your own integrity. I'm, you know, certified as a reconnective healer. I'm a Reiki master, but yet the coaching, the teaching, the writing is much more where I'm drawn. So it doesn't mean that I can't do all of that. And certainly I've had people reach out to me to do the reconnection and things like that. But because there's only so many hours in the day, I prefer to really do what it is that I really enjoy. So just a little advice there. So let's see. Yeah, Nicole is saying This work isn't all about money for me. It's about spreading healing messages. What is a method that helps encourage your followers? You know, we've talked about this before. One of the things that I think is really successful is people will post a couple cards face down and have people select what cards they would like to be their reading. And what they'll do later in the day is say, well, if you pick A, it's this, you pick B. I have noticed those posts on Facebook, and they get quite a bit of action, a lot of comments underneath. I think people really do, they love the idea of mini readings. They love getting that information. So I have found when you look at comments, and again, especially if you're just starting, that seems to be a more engaging post than people that post the card of the day. And again, that's great. I think I'm the same way you are. I feel what I do. Money is a nice bonus. It's energy. I believe in charging what you're worth. But that being said, it's not what motivates me. And all the work I've ever done, money has never been a strong motivator. I'm much more motivated by making a difference. So that's what drives me. And I think when you think abundantly, you become abundant. So for me, I recharge my batteries in other ways. If I'm doing, you know, free things, I'll recharge my batteries in other ways. That being said, I don't believe in giving away readings, and I don't believe in looking at pricing and feeling guilty. Again, you go to your angels, you go to your fairies, you go to your intuition, what you feel you should be charging. Look at your colleagues, but never feel that because you're doing this work, you shouldn't be charging. People sometimes feel, well, if you're doing spiritual work, and you might even get somebody that'll actually say that to you. Well, if you're doing spiritual work, then why don't you just give it away? I will tell you that if you are consistently giving away your work, you're going to get burned out. There's got to be a give and take. It's all about energy. It's all about really the law of attraction. So it's beautiful. I so enjoy coming to you and doing these broadcasts, and I learn so much doing them. So even though looking on the dotted line and the, you know, the money aspect, you know, it can be determined to be free, but for me, I just love doing this. And I recently started the new moon. It's been quite a while, but now maybe 6 or 7 months I've been doing my moon broadcasts, and each and every time I do them, I learn so much myself. So there is a give and a take. But again, I think so many of us are drawn to be of service. That being said, make sure that there is something energetically coming back to you. So just because you're collecting money doesn't make what you do any less important. And as I said, if you're consistently giving it away, you'll get burned out. And one thing I'll tell you, you will find friends that once they know what you do, will start reaching out to you for these mini readings, and or even more intense readings, or they base their decisions on what you've got to say. I have learned that what you have to do is very kindly tell them that you'd be happy to do a reading for them. Would they please schedule it? Because I've had people that have taken advantage, and in the beginning, if it's somebody that asks you a brief question or whatever, but if this is something, and you'll know that you feel somebody is taking advantage of, then you've certainly got every right to refer them to your website, refer them to whatever. And I think that reminds me, there was a second part to one of the questions about online services. And they asked me if I was aware of online services as far as like scheduling and paying for your for your readings. The only online service that I'm familiar with is Click for Advisor. And I was toying with the idea not that long ago of putting a Click for Advisor button on my website. You can get all the information if you Google Click for Advisor, and you can reach out to them. I decided that it really wasn't something that I wanted to do at this time. But I know you can do it different ways and run your readings through Click for Advisor. Any of the other ones out there, I've worked with Click for Advisor. They take a percentage, you know, there's these fees, phone fees, things like that. So I've worked with them, and I haven't had any issues, but right now at this time, it's not something that I feel that I want to do. I've got, you know, quite an active business where people just schedule readings. I am doing some personal mentoring now along these lines with helping people get over their blocks, assisting them in intuitive coaching. And if it's something you're interested in, please message me, because I I don't have that service up on my website yet. But I just felt that I was expanding and I really have to get into my writing. So I figured right now I'm not going to take on any more. But Click for Advisor is one that I have used and I'm familiar with. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So it looks like I think I've addressed all of the questions. I know there's people that did post that this time was not convenient for them based on where they lived in the world. So just a reminder that I have a very active YouTube station that all of these coaching sessions, this is episode 14 as I've said before, all of these coaching sessions are up on my YouTube channel. And as a matter of fact, I do have that posted in reply to somebody, so it is up on the underneath the graphic that I posted. So if you want to see that, and I'll get that up over on my fan page. So again, that's SusanDintino 333 on Facebook, where I will be broadcasting at 1:30 Eastern time. So that's coming up in like an hour and a half. And doing my new moon. And wow, there is a lot to talk about with this new moon energy. So I'll be doing that. I'm also going to be very interested in any topics that you would like to see me cover. I find that these sessions have really been beneficial for myself as well, because it reminds me of so many of the things that I went through in my early experience and things that I've changed and done differently. So if there's anything you would like to see me cover in one of these coaching sessions, please feel free to post it on the CACR page, the Certified Angel Card Readers page. That's the one that I'm right now broadcasting from, the one that I go to. So please feel free to do that. And I welcome everybody from all over the world. Wow, we're doing such a great job holding the light, and you're doing such a great job holding the light. Never doubt that. Don't let these minuscule ideas of blocks or that you're not, a perfect reader or what if I'm wrong. Don't let those ideas get into your head. You're perfect just the way you are. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, come into your home or wherever it is that you are. I wish you a blessed week. Have a wonderful weekend as well. And I'd love to have you join me for my new moon broadcast. Have a wonderful day.